Who is out here teaching the ugly men how to ghost people? Who's out here teaching this to these bridge troll looking Shrek men? It's unbelievable.
If it bothered you that he ghosted you, he clearly wasn't that ugly. Let's be real, you would not have even noticed that he stopped replying if he was ugly. So either he's not ugly or you're a raging narcissist who leeches off of people's emotional investment in you, even if you don't actually like them, right? I swear people find new ways to tell on themselves every day, and this is not the only video like this. This is her entire account.
You want to be toxic? Here's a great tip. If a man texts you that he wants to see other people, he's not that interested, he's declining your offer, or anything of the like, a sensitive message, maybe he's going through it, whatever, but it's some nonsensical issue, don't send the paragraph that you're likely wanting to send right now. Depending on what kind of phone that you have, you're either going to just text him a laughing emoji, or you're just going to react to his message with the haha reaction. I've said it before, and I'll say it again, I freaking love ugly men. He dumps me, he ghosts me. Good luck finding better. Hot men will go and find better. But ugly men, I'm their Roman Empire.
When I have to break up with all my boyfriends because my favorite one wants to be more serious.
I got ghosted by my literal boyfriend, so I thought of a few things that I would say to him if I didn't block him already. You have a lot of nerve saying that with that hairline. 5'10", sweetie, you're not even 5'10" in lifts. Probably should have known by the amount of times you repeated stories to me that you probably just keep a Rolodex of these stories to share with women that you date. Can you, not speak so close to me because I think you might have halitosis? Oh, that's so nice of you to have roommates at 40 years old. What's that like?
You know that guy you always make fun of because when he tries to hit on girls and they reject him, he's like, whatever, you were ugly anyway. That's you, girly. That's you. You're that guy. And guys, I didn't cherry pick these videos. These were canonically in order, okay? This is just consistently an allegedly hot girl being incredulous that she cannot maintain relationships with allegedly ugly guys. Have you considered what you might be experiencing is friendly fire? I'm sorry, you may find yourself conventionally attractive, but by virtue of you making so many consistently egregiously vain and self-centered TikToks, I think that most of us would agree that you're about 25% uglier now. And I don't think these women realize that this is how guys get red-pilled so hard, because while women like this, thank God, are actually few and far between, the ones that are so loud and get so many likes and compliments on their videos that guys start to think that all women really are this way. We need to take accountability for these bad optics because what guys are seeing is women supporting other women doing this dumb shit. When we support other women being this self-centered and just plain mean, it's not empowered women empowering women, it's delulu women keeping other delulu women more delusional. And it gets the no bottle from me. Bad. Okay, so this video goes, me, help me fold the towels, please. Also me. She's refolding them. She's refolding the towels as he's doing them. Okay, so no shade at all to this couple. They're actually really funny. You should follow them. But things are not funny unless there is a grain of truth. So I want to talk about this. This is actually a very common problem in marriages, and it's what I call the hurdle. The hurdle between I need your help and no, not like that. It's just that unlike in this video where the husband doesn't seem to notice that she's redoing all of his hard work, most men do notice. And not only do they notice, it pisses them off. It annoys the hell out of them because they don't understand the point of putting in effort if you're just going to redo all of the effort anyway. And before any of you say, but it's weaponized incompetence, stop. Weaponized incompetence is real. This is towels. This is not it. You're trying to tell me you can fold towels wrong? And not for nothing, look how much faster than her he's going. Time is valuable, man. He could have made that job take half as long, but instead she's going to make it take 3 times as long as it should have by redoing everything. All because they had to be folded right when you're just going to grab them and undo it the second you have to take a shower anyway. Why are these towels more valuable than your freedom? I think there's weaponized incompetence for sure, but I think there's also self-harmful, superficial standards. Where the rules that we're setting for ourselves are so pointless and arbitrary and they're sucking the life out of us. I also think we could really shake hands as men and women if we could just understand that when it comes to tackling chores, men try to look at it from a perspective of trying to get it done in as little time as possible, and women look at it from a perspective of trying to make it look as nice as possible, and that both approaches are valuable. What's also valuable is all the time you're going to reclaim by not refolding towels anymore. Stop refolding towels. Bad. This is everything I can tell you about your man based off of which of these bugs he chooses. He can pick 1, praying mantis, 2, ant, 3, a bee, 4, a beetle, 5, moth, or 6, a spider, which I realize is not a bug or an insect, but rather an arachnid, but nonetheless I wanted them on this list. Okay, if he picked praying mantis, he is patient and meticulous. He is like the opposite of needy, which can be really disarming, especially if you're used to a lot of attention. You'll notice that he speaks more with his actions than his words, and he's the kind of man who really appreciates an independent woman because that's who he needs in order for it to work. I think the funniest thing about guys who pick ants is that what they appreciate about ants is their ability to work together to create Super Saiyan feats of strength, and yet they themselves hate working in groups. He was probably the dude in high school who took on the group project entirely himself, and it didn't even bother him that no one helped because he didn't want them involved anyway. These dudes are the type of dude that you can't tell they're a nerd until you bring up their favorite fandom, and then it's glaringly obvious. If he chose B, he is the golden Labrador stereotype, but he is also extremely horny all of the time. If he chose Beetle, he's one of those wholesome jock yells, "Gloves off!" at the hockey game Letterkenny types. He relies on autocorrect to do most of the heavy lifting in conversations through text, but his street smarts are out of this world, and if he knows how to help, he will. He can get a little aggro sometimes, but he also gets super excited over the littlest things, like a pickle. If he picked Moth, he is a sweet, precious goth and or punk and or wizard boy. He loves black, dark, horror, spooky, occulty stuff, but he also loves soup. All of his friends are poor and he loves them. Send memes. If he picked Spider, he has a very specific or specialized interest that he hyper-focuses or obsesses over, and everyone who knows him knows what it is. He's either an artist, a craftsman, an engineer, or all three, and is very creative-brained. Most people will never actually understand the method behind his madness, but he's also very romantic, so it makes it more forgivable. Give me another 6 random things for your man to pick from, and I'll Zodiac this shit. I asked someone very dear to my heart to peel my orange for me, and he did, but with a heavy sigh and rolled eyes. So now, I just peel my own oranges in silence to not bother anyone. So this is a super viral video for some reason that showed up on my For You page. As you can see, we're at like almost 1 million likes now. And what it appears to be is a girl crying in fetal position on her toilet. It was posted by a user who goes by Mommy. The caption is "Thug it out." And apparently a lot of people could relate because the comments, shares, saves went hard. The top search result is girls immediately looking for the deeper meaning of peeling oranges. Now, I know y'all aren't totally clueless, as even the top comment points out, this isn't about peeling oranges, is it? And I can womansplain this. This is not about the oranges at all. This is about a woman's innate desire for a man to not only do the chore, but to want to do the chore. Deep down, it's true that we all want to be treated like princesses. I will totally admit that. However, we have to ask ourselves, at what point does our dream of being a princess step on other people's realities of being human? Because this orange analogy all just ends up sounding like a bratty overcorrection. She's like the girlfriend who, when you ask her to scoot over an inch in bed, she's like, "Fine, I'll just sleep on the floor." And just as I'm thinking this, I see another comment. He says, "After years of peeling oranges, I told her that I did not have it in me that day. She forgot those years. To her, I am defined by a moment." And that part also happens all the time. We have to make sure that while identifying that our feelings of wanting to be desired are valid, that we're not leaning into expecting a servant instead of a human partner. So a real life example of what women are trying to capture for men that might be more digestible than peeling oranges is the real life example that you might have seen on TikTok where the women are trying to get their boyfriends to go on these pumpkin patch photo shoots and the man is just scowling and making it a bad experience for everyone the whole time because he doesn't want to be there. It's just that something about crying over oranges on a toilet is giving very "my boyfriend didn't hire security just to move them out of the way to hold my door open" like Travis Kelce did for Taylor Swift energy. You know what I mean? Let's just check our privileges and our expectations in a relationship. Peeling your own oranges sometimes is totally normal and okay. This reads, "Maturing is realizing that if they're really the right one, you're not going to be out here having to teach them how to treat you." So I actually really like this creator. I think he creates a lot of really positive content for women, but I do disagree with him here. I think this sentiment gets pushed a lot to women, and it's something that we'd really like to believe deep down, but I'm here to tell you, no, 100% of the time, in every situation, you are going to have to teach a man how to treat you. Let me finish. Are there basic standards of human decency and respect that we should expect from others? Absolutely. However, you're still going to have to teach any man how to treat you, and here's why. Is it because men are incompetent and can't figure it out for themselves? No. Is it the women are responsible for everything? No. It is because you are a unique and individual woman who cannot be compared to or conflated with any woman he has ever met before. You have your own unique and special wants, interests, dreams, tastes. The way that you like to do things is different than the way I like to do things. You don't really want your man to treat you the same way that he treats every other girl. You can date a man who is deeply compassionate, quick to recognize patterns and anticipate needs, provides, is responsible, and you will still always have to ask for things and teach him how you need things, and that's not a bad thing. In fact, more men and women should start being vocal about what they want because, as it turns out, it has been proven to be the single most effective way of getting what you want. Doesn't that suck? We don't live in a fantasy world. This dream man who knows everything that you want already doesn't exist. Grass doesn't just grow anywhere, you know what I'm saying? It grows in a receptive and reciprocal environment. Grows where you water it. If you're a woman who's having trouble getting your man to do things the way you want them done, let me womansplain something about men that's going to make things a hell of a lot easier. Don't tell him to do something without telling him why. There are a couple reasons for this. The first being, dude's going to have a hard time prioritizing this thing that you want that he's never been in the habit of doing if he has no idea why it even matters to you. So for example, I kept asking my husband to load the dishwasher starting from back to front, and he wasn't doing it. And a lot of you guys are like, well, why would he? That's not important. That makes no sense. And it's really not important. My only reason being that it's easier to tell when it's full by pulling out less of the drawer. And once I explained that, he has done it consistently and with purpose. But before I explained this, he was like, dude, I am not crazy. The dishes are gonna get washed no matter what order I start loading them in. I don't know what Ukrainian folktale she was taught growing up that made her think that this is gonna keep the demons at bay, but I don't actually need to do it. But now that he knows that it's not just another random Slavic superstition and it just makes my life a tiny bit easier, he does it. To put it simply, guys like having direction and they like helping, but they don't like being bossed around. There's even a word for it, and it's called reactance. Reactance is the compulsion to resist doing anything that they can sense that they are being compelled to do, even if it's something that they were planning on doing anyway. It's basically, now that you've told me to do it, I'm not going to do it. And the data concludes that men score much higher total in both verbal and behavioral reactance than women do. Call it annoying or call it a survival tool to maintain your autonomy in a world where everyone is constantly trying to use you as a weapon. It is what it is, but giving men a good reason why is a good way to avoid it. Follow me for more male secrets, or just keep being mad. The choice is yours. These are 3 specific things every guy in a long-term relationship wants to say to you, but for one reason or another feels like he can't, so I will. Also, I'm not above you. I've been married for 10 years. I've been told these things many times. 1, please stop rejecting every idea he has. Look, he knows not every idea he has is a winner, but it's really crappy when you just dismiss it right away without even thinking about it. Just remember there are a million different ways of doing things, and your way might be one of the right ways, but his way might also be one of the right ways. 2, please just say it. Whatever it is you're thinking or you want to say, just communicate it clearly. Guys are not mind readers, and their odds of guessing things are random. The longer you wait to just come out with it, the more you're both going to be beaten around the bush. Trust me, even if you think he should know, just tell him. And 3, please get in the habit of assuming positive intent. So many problems snowball so fast because we jump to the assumption of malice, that they did this on purpose to hurt us or because they don't care about us. Very rarely is that actually the case. Ask him why he did or didn't do something. Oftentimes there is a method to his madness. I'm not too worried about you though, because you listen to this whole thing, which means you care about being nice to each other. You'll be alright. One thing your man is never going to understand about you, no matter how many times you try to explain it, and Lord knows you've tried to explain it. I'm talking you've done full-on PowerPoint presentations to try to explain it, and he's not getting it, and he's never going to get it, and that is how you don't find yourself attractive. It literally blows his mind every day and leaves him so confused. It's like an extra most bestest pizza not knowing it's delicious. It's like a super crunchy leaf that doesn't know that it's the best to be stomped on. How do you not know? Are you aware that this man has had to train his mind to Jedi level degrees just to not stare at you all day? Do you know what Herculean strength it takes within him to keep his hands off of you for just long enough to let you pet the cat and stuff? It also makes him second guess himself, because if you, the most ethereal goddess he's ever seen, rivaled only by the fairest of maidens, thinks that she is unattractive, then he must look like a toad mixed with a foot, and that also makes him confused. If he sends this to you, just know that he thinks that you're the hottest, most confusing, silly goose out there, and he just wants you to accept his compliments sometimes. Men don't really care how much a woman makes, but they care a lot about how much she can save. Men list financial literacy as one of the #1 things that they look for in a woman to marry. But financial literacy doesn't mean how much money you can provide, it means how well you understand it. Studies show that by and large, men really don't mind being the primary or even the sole breadwinner, but they do pay a lot of attention to how far you can make their wages go. See, I know women with 5-figure earners who are in less debt than women with 7-figure earners, and at that point, who has more money? I know middle-aged families who are all healthy and in shape because mom can make $200 at Costco last through an ice age, and I know millionaires who are all lazy because all they do is go out to eat and play on their tablets. This is why very few women manage to impress men with their money alone. While there are male gold diggers out there, and perhaps that's a video for another time, they are a very small population compared to the vast majority of men who just want someone who's nice to them. I still recommend women make their own money, it's just in general a good thing to do, but don't try to use it as leverage in the dating market because a man will always choose a waitress over a CEO if she's nicer to him. I can womansplain dudes with fish profile pictures. I'm sure by now you've heard of the phenomenon, but there are just a lot of dudes making their dating profile pictures themselves holding fish they caught, and girls don't like it. In fact, after a study showed that a whopping 92% of single women reported getting the ick after seeing a fish profile picture, Tinder elected to ban the practice of fish profile photos entirely in 2023. Which seems a little crazy to me because I don't see them banning just feed me pizza and rub my butt from any profiles, and that's just as common. But anyway, let's talk about the fish profile photo phenomenon, why it happens, and if you should be as offended by it as you might be. We'll start with a simple question. How many social situations can you think of off the dome where men offer to take each other's picture? Society for men obviously isn't exactly the same as it is for women, especially when it comes to photography. People don't exactly cherish men's beauty the same way. Outside of monumental events, guys don't really take each other's pictures, and maybe you should. I will throw that in there. Most of the factors of the fish photo, though, are well-intentioned. He was hoping that you would infer that he's a patient man who loves the outdoors and nature, who could potentially provide for you if need be, but fellas, she's never gonna see it that way. Most girls just think you want to brag about a slimy fish. So guys, just skip the fish pictures, it's not worth it. But also ladies, you might want to consider getting a little bit more creative too, because there's also no shortage of overly judgmental princesses who think they're above everybody either.
I think men are evolving, and I'm a little fearful, TBA. You know how us girlies are, like, basically FBI agents, because we can find anything about a person within 5 minutes. Well, I think men are figuring out how to do that.
Wait. You're telling me men know how to use the internet too? So this girl's telling a story about how she's been going to a new gym and she doesn't really talk to anybody, but somehow a couple of the guys there were able to find her social media and DM her, and she was horrified by it. And I guess it's just interesting to me that us girlies really think we're the only ones who know how to do these little deep dives. We aren't. We're just so loud about it, and men stalk their prey in silence like the G in lasagna. Because there's a double standard. When a woman does her homework, it's smart. When a man does his homework, it's creepy. That's just the way the world works. So if a guy is technologically savvy, he's not going to say anything about it. Another reason we tend to not notice that guys are technologically savvy is because it's cool for girls to loudly reject guys. It is not cool for guys to loudly reject girls. So when a guy finds your social media and he's turned off by it, he's just going to politely bow out without ever telling you that he saw it. But if a girl finds something cringe on a guy's social media, everyone will know. Finally, I can't help but notice that she praises women's ability to find things online, but when she describes men doing the exact same thing, it's suddenly very scary. It's not. It's public-facing information that everyone has access to. Simplest thing, if you don't like people seeing what you post, don't post it. Okay, so by now we've all heard of the orange peel theory, right? It's like the new tester challenge to see if your man is willing to do things for you by asking him if he'll peel an orange for you. What not everyone is realizing or talking about is that some of these guys are playing this test on easy mode and some of them are playing on hard mode. Because some girls are asking, and some girls think they're asking. I'll show you what I mean. Let's watch one where the girl says, "Can you peel this orange for me?"
Can you peel this orange for me?
Oh, yeah.
He passed, right? Okay, let's see what happens when she says, "I feel like an orange."
I really feel like an orange.
What do you mean?
I really feel like an orange.
How do you feel like an orange?
Like I feel like
Well, how do you feel like an orange?
like I feel like having an orange.
You just said you feel like an orange, not you don't feel like
No,
having
I
an orange.
want an orange.
Okay, from where?
Can you get me one?
From where?
Oh,
We don't have
Can
one.
I have a grapefruit?
Oh no, someone in the comments said he looks like a grown Hezbollah. Guys, Hezbollah is grown. Look, my point is, when talking to guys, don't bother hinting at what you might want unless you don't like getting what you want.